Welcome to my version of First Things First, Nick Wright's quarterback tiers. The most accurate quarterback tiers in the entire world. Consistently voted the most unbiased, the most grounded, the most authentic, the most real quarterback rankings ever done. Year after year, week after week. It's amazing. It's an honor. I'm so appreciative. I am so grateful. Everyone always says nothing but positives in the comment section. It's great to read the comments truly. So I appreciate it. But my tiers are done a little bit differently. They are truly just week to week. They are not a rich tapestry. It has nothing to do with the past of what you've done. Last year, what you've done in week 7, week 9. It's only the playoffs. That's it right now. Because now we're in the playoff TI, so it's only the playoffs. What did you just do on Saturday, Sunday, Monday? And I live streamed those games with everyone and it was a party. So, please definitely check out the live stream on Saturday and Sunday. But these tiers, they mean something now because it's the playoffs. It's the playoffs. Now, at the core of it, it really comes down to is, how did I feel when I watched you? It's not just based off of stats. It's not just this guy threw for this many touchdowns or this guy threw an interception. Maybe that was part of it. It all depends. But it's, how do I feel? I let my heart guide me in this moment. And I'm telling you right off the bat, some of you are not going to like what you see. Some of you will, but hey, that's part of the journey. That's what makes these tiers so grounded, so real, and so unbiased, because they also spark a beautiful conversation. So if you like what you see, let me know in the comments. If you don't, let me know in the comments. Either way, I'll be there and we can get into it. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so at the B, what is this? There's flowers. This is supposed to be a mountain. Oh, I did the wrong. I think I did the wrong thing. Did I upload the... What is this? What? Oh, this is the playground before you actually get to the playoff mountain. These quarterbacks aren't in the playoffs, so they didn't get to the mountain. I forgot there's a playground at base camp and there's a fun, seesaw, and we got Baker Mayfield's really happy. He's like, yeah, let's go. Dak Prescott's like, oh, it's fun just to be included. Shader Sanders is like, hey, I'm just a rookie. This is fun. I can't believe Mahomes is there. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. All 4 of these quarterbacks were supposed to be the MVP this year. I mean, Baker Mayfield, he was the MVP. And then it was Dak Prescott, he was the MVP. Well, Baker Mayfield was supposed to be in the Super Bowl this year. That didn't work out. So was Dak Prescott. That didn't work out. Didn't even make the playoffs. Dak was supposed to take over the NFL. He didn't make the playoffs. Baker was supposed to be in the Super Bowl and be a Super Bowl MVP and be a regular season MVP. Couldn't do it. Shader Sanders, hey, he was only a rookie. It was all Kevin Stefanski, but, he did pretty good. Patrick Mahomes, I thought he was supposed to be the Super Bowl MVP. I thought he was supposed to do it again. He didn't. Okay, we got to get these guys out of the way. We got to actually get to the actual playoff mound. I apologize for that. Truly. I didn't realize that I had this with the base camp and the seesaw and the playground. I'm so sorry. Get out of here, guys. Okay, now let's finally get to it. What the heck is this now? Oh my. Why can't I get to the mountain? What even is this? Patrick Mahomes and his... Oh, I forgot about this too. I'm sorry. We're going to get to the mountain. I really do apologize. This is the only time we see Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs this year is in the State Farm commercials when we're actually watching the actual quarterbacks and the actual teams in the playoffs. Oh, that's the only time we're seeing Mahomes this year in the playoffs. And he's not even wearing a Chiefs jersey there. He can't even wear his name on his jersey there or the number. He's just wearing red. It's not even the Chiefs. So, the Chiefs aren't even here for the playoffs this year, but I guess Patrick Mahomes at least did. That's not bad, right? That's still pretty good. Bud. All right, we got to stop with this. All right, now we finally got to the mountain right off the bat. We needed to include me. Don't say I'm biased. I put myself at the bottom of the mountain here, but we're running out of quarterbacks, so we got to make it, symmetrical. It needs to make sense, so I had to be in there. But listen, I'm down there with Justin Herbert and Aaron Rodgers and CJ Stout, so not a bad ranking, you know. Pretty bad ranking. Pretty fun to be included there. But listen, Justin Herbert, I don't put the blame on him. I've made that known. I reject the whole Chargers chargering. He was pressured an insane amount of times. I do think he needed to be better. I don't mind. I, I don't care that they lost or that there wasn't a great game from him, but I did expect him to look a little bit better than he did. But again, I don't blame him. But you know, it just is what it is. Then we got. I almost went through myself. Then we got like, who is that? That's me, Aaron Rodgers again. You know, and that's the reality, right? Some of these quarterbacks, it's like I don't really fully put the blame on him. I'm not going to put it all on the weight of Aaron Rodgers' shoulders, but we went up against an elite defense. He made a couple beautiful throws. There were some drops, especially the one drop to DK Metcalf. I mean, the margin of error that this team had going up against the Houston Texans was always going to be brutal. And the reality is that every quarterback going up against the Houston Texans is just not looking great. But he was 17 for 33, 146 yards, 0 touchdowns with 1 interception. 50.8 passer rating. You know, again, I don't blame Aaron by any stretch of the imagination, especially at this point of his career, how old he is and all of that. I think it was pretty cool that he was even playing in the first place, but, you know, he's got to be at the bottom. And then CJ Stout, you know, again, I'm actually recording this video right after I finished live streaming. And we were talking about it, and someone's like, hey, CJ didn't play that bad. He had a bad game, but he still had 250 yards. And it's like, listen, CJ was getting pressured a lot, and his O-line is still obviously not great. But I guess, again, it's just one of those things where I expect a higher quality game. Even some of the fumbles, I don't fully blame him. They are on him. But it's just one of those things where I'm a little bit more forgiving when a quarterback is going back to throw, and then he gets kind of, you know, hit, and now it's a fumble. I'm just a little bit more forgiving on those. I'm less forgiving significantly for throwing the interception that he did in the red zone in a game that it's clearly low scoring. The game ended up being 30-6. That's obviously not the feeling that this game had. It was a low scoring game. Points really mattered, and he forfeited a field goal in that moment, and like that could have been devastating if it wasn't for his defense. Like that could have been devastating, and it wasn't. Shout out to the Texans defense, which is just monsters. And then the next batch, this is when people are going to start to get a little angry. Oh my gosh, Matthew Stafford. What? Trevor Lawrence? Drake May? Huh? Before anyone freaks out, just so you know that I'm not crazy here, Matthew Stafford had PFF ranked him 7th. He was the 7th best quarterback. Well, this is before they updated with CJ and Aaron. So I assume they're going to be below him, I assume. But PFF and also before CJ and Aaron were updated, he was the 7th ranked quarterback with on ESPN via QBR. So just so we're clear, not being a hater, not being crazy, but listen, Matthew Stafford played well. Like he didn't play bad, but it was against the Carolina Panthers team that he was supposed to absolutely blow out. They did not. And he had 1 interception, should have been 2, and that would have lost them the game straight up. And go ask his team, go watch those interviews from any of the players, McVay, etc. That Puka Nua breakup interception saved the Los Angeles Rams season. Saved them. He had essentially 2 devastating interceptions. 57% completion percentage. I'm just saying. And he had a great game-winning drive, but like some pretty wild catches, man. Some pretty wide-open players, great run game. He didn't play bad. I don't watch that game and feel bad about Matthew Stafford, and I've consistently said this. So, in case any of the Stafford fans are there, I've consistently said that the scariest team is the Rams right now with the playoffs because of Stafford, McVay, Puka, Devontae, etc. But I gotta keep it real. Gotta be honest. Drake May, you know, he had a really interesting game. It was obviously his first playoff game. It definitely got ugly at times. I would say it was inconsistent. I think if it wasn't his first playoff game, I would be a little bit less forgiving. I think the Chargers defense is awesome. That's what I kept saying going into this game when I was making my Patriots videos of like, listen, this Chargers defense is legit. This Chargers defense is legit, but he was 17 for 29, 268 yards, 9.2 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, had the 1 interception. A little fluky, you know, it was one of those tipped ones and went off. I think it hit like multiple Chargers players. 86.66 passer rating. He had 10 carries for 66 yards. I mean, I was really, really impressed what he did with his legs. He had a 37-yard run. I just think this game a lot was going on. And I think he managed it pretty well. He took 5 sacks. Yeah, he had the 1 fumble as well, similar to what CJ was dealing with, and Aaron, I guess, for that matter. And I think maybe Justin Herbert as well. Everybody was fumbling that way. Everybody was kind of going back to throwing and fumbling. Pretty crazy. And, you know, that's why Drake May is where he is. But, again, all in all, I still think it was a good game for him. Not a great game, a good game for him. He made some unbelievable throws that I think were really, really impressive. And, you know, all things considered, I think it's a strong first-time showing. And it's kind of crazy. Because, again, ESPN had him above Brock Perry, above Stafford, Caleb, and that's why you can't just go by bottom-line stats because, yeah, I think where I have him here is quite fair, quite frankly. And then we have Trevor Lawrence. Oh, Trevor. He does have a ton of interceptions in his 3. I think he's got 7 interceptions now and 3 interceptions. I think he did actually play really well. It wasn't perfect and he didn't elevate. That is actually where he gets knocked the most for me personally, is that he didn't elevate. He made some beautiful throws. He had some beautiful plays. Really tight window. Used his legs a couple times. The 1 interception was just a bad decision on his part. The other interception with the 1 minute to go, I don't mind it. It was a great defensive play. I understand that things were a little intense with that 1 minute to go and all of that. With their kicker, they can just kick a field goal and tie the game, but like it was just a tough one. I mean, I think he played confident the once where he slipped. And again, I don't blame him for slipping even, because you're going to slip. Like, those things just unfortunately happen in a game. Throughout someone's career, you're going to have those moments, and it's just a bummer. But I don't think he played poorly, but it just wasn't an elevation game. And in that moment, you needed to elevate, and you saw Josh Allen elevate, for instance, right? You saw that, and so I just was hoping to see elevation, and you know, it's just not the way how it unfolded for him. But you know, ultimately he played good enough to win. He just got Josh Allen. Unfortunately. So that's the way it goes sometimes. And then we got Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, and Jordan Love. This is going to be another moment where people are having panic attacks. And I get it. But let it be known that Jalen Hurts was actually ranked above Matthew Stafford and Brock Purdy, according to PFF. I'm just saying. Listen, Jalen Hurts actually played great. He really did. He was clearly not the problem in that game. As I showed in my one clip, he was literally going to be the hero in the game-winning drive. If his O-line just didn't, if his one offensive lineman, Johnson, didn't give up on the play and just continued, Jalen Hurts was going to rip off a 10-plus yard run to get the first down and put them at first and goal at like the 9-yard line. And Jalen Hurts threw beautiful balls to AJ, to Devontae, to take all drops. They had 7 drops that game. Jalen Hurts was not the problem. Jalen Hurts was not the problem at all. And then it takes me to Brock Purdy. Brock Pye played well. He had 2 devastating interceptions. He absolutely did. And he could have suffered the consequences for sure, but because he went up against the Philadelphia Eagles, he didn't. But I was actually really impressed with some of his really momentum shift plays that he made, especially with his legs, was wildly, wildly impressive. He had 9 carries for 24 yards, and honestly, all of them were crucial in that game. And that is why I have him knocked, or have him above a Matthew Stafford, because he fundamentally did more for his team in more crucial moments in that game. And I find that really impressive against a much better Philadelphia Eagles defense. And then Jordan Love. Jordan Love. Jordan Love is always going to be a little tough to evaluate in some of these big games because Jordan Love will always be at the mercy of the scheme of his coach. He is an elite playmaker from the pocket. That is where Jordan Love is his most special. And when the system around him was being run at the highest level, he was crushing it. He was absolutely crushing. I mean, he threw for 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 103.8 passer rating. But then when things kind of fell out of structure a little bit, he couldn't make up for it. But I at the end of the day, I am actually putting way more blame on that loss on Matt LaFleur than Jordan Love. But I mean, he really never put the ball in harm's way. He never took some devastating sack. He did his job. He threw for 323 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 1 sack, 3.8 passer rating, and an 80.3 QBR. I know you could probably say that he missed a throw or two, but I mean, he was a big reason why they were crushing it. He was the reason why they were crushing it. So, Jordan Love, you're on that row. And then the next one, this was actually really difficult. This was really, really, really difficult, but I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it. Josh Allen, Caleb Williams. Listen, I move when my heart says move. That's why. Josh Allen is at the second level. Caleb Williams at the second level. Josh Allen easily could have been number 1 easily. And he originally was in the last second. I was like, you know what? I got to go this way. I got to stick with the whole. What impressed me the most, what truly impressed me the most. And since I've seen such amazing, incredible moments from Josh Allen, I had him at 2. What he did was Superman. And for anyone who, this is one of the first videos you're watching of me, go watch my Josh Allen videos and then come back to me before you want to comment that I'm not, that I'm holding Josh Allen back here. But I mean, he was obviously unbelievable. 200, yeah. Over 300 total yards, 3 total touchdowns. I mean, honestly, it's not even close when you look at like PFF's rank. And Josh Allen, 94. Second best was Caleb Williams at 73, 77.3. Jordan Love, 73.9. I mean, it's really not even close from a ranking perspective like that. He's got a QBR of 87.2, and then Jordan Love actually is the second highest QBR of 80.3. So, I mean, obviously he crushed it. I don't think those stats do it justice. You have to really watch that game. His throw to Cooks, the 40-yard pass, I mean, the moments that they relied on him to convert on 3rd and 4th down with his legs, he had no run support whatsoever, which is indeed why he is the MVP over Matthew Stafford, because he actually has to do things with his leg. When they took away the run game, James Cook only had 46 yards, 0 touchdowns. And Josh said, no worries, I'll get 11 carries, 33 yards, 2 touchdowns, every single rushing first down that we could ever ask for in gotta have it moments. So, yeah, that's Josh Allen. And then Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams. He saved the day in a lot of ways, man. That first half was obviously not great by any stretch of the imagination. The 1 interception was not his fault. His receiver did not run the right route, and I did not like what I saw out of Caleb throughout the course of that game and some of his behavior and how he was yelling. I understand you're upset and all that, and like all things, I'm not a fan of personally, but what he did in that 3rd and 4th quarter was pretty spectacular. Some of the plays, some of the throws that he made, some of the scrambles, it was pretty spectacular. I mean, it really was. It wasn't his cleanest game. It wasn't his best game. And it's kind of crazy when you look at the box score where he was 24 for 48. Not the best. 361 yards, pretty good. Did throw the ball nearly 50 times, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had a 71.6 passer rating. That's not good. And a QBR of 36.9. But again, this is one of those games where it's like you really do got to watch. And yeah, he definitely missed some layups. He could have been better, but at the end of the day, he made some pretty breathtaking throws. But, if it continues in that way, it'll definitely be one of those types of evaluations with a Caleb Williams where you're just like, yeah, that was great that you made up for it, that you did this, you did that, but like, we need a lot of the other stuff to kind of get going as well. And I think when we do see that, that's when things really go off. But honestly, the quarterback who impressed me the most, I mean, it really was Bryce Young. I I I know everyone's going to be kind of like, how is Bryce Young possibly up there? Bryce Young was wildly impressive, man. Nobody talks about Bryce Young being anything in the NFL. Let's be serious. No one really talks about Bryce Young. I mean, Nick's whole take was, "Oh, Bryce Young, if the Panthers win, it's actually a loss for them because Bryce Young is not the guy." He was actually arguably the most impressive quarterback of the whole weekend. You can make the argument that it was Josh Allen, and it's an amazing argument to make, but I mean, Bryce Young was scrambling all day. He had pretty much just, he's going up against the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, Pucan. You all know all the names, all of that. And he had the game-winning drive. He made unbelievable plays, unbelievable throws. He had the 2 total touchdowns. He had nearly 300 total yards. I mean, he nearly had a Josh Allen game. And yet he's like half the size, half the weight, not even a percent of the expert. This was his first ever playoff game. And so we talk about first playoff games for Drake May, for Caleb Williams, for all this. And he was awesome. I mean, he was awesome. And it's kind of a shame that he's not really discussed, or no one talked about him today. Yesterday, nobody talked about him. Seriously, no one was like, how about Bryce Young impressed? And like, nobody talked about that. They talked about Trevor, they talked about Caleb, they talked about Jordan Love, they talked about Stafford, they talked about Drake May, they talked about Jalen Hurts, they talked about Justin. Think about it. They talked about every single quarterback but Bryce Young. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy when considering he was insanely impressive in that game. He was actually ranked 3rd in QBR. So ranked 3rd according to ESPN, and PFF had him ranked 4th. But I was wildly impressed, and I think he is owed some flowers. So I had him at the top because if you were watching quarterback play and you were just like, who was I most impressed with? Who, like, was I most surprised by how great they played? I think majority of people would say Bryce Young. I had to think of his name for a second. My post-game clip, I said Bryce Young actually outplayed Matthew Stafford. And they were freaking out about that. The Rams fans were like, you're such a clown. You just prove yourself as a hater, this, that. And it was like, well, again, PFF has him ranked above Matthew Stafford, and so does ESPN. And again, I'm obviously not just going by the stats, because when I went through some of the numbers and some of the rankings, like, mine don't fit those, but I'm just saying, like, clearly there is a strict mathematical and statistical reason for that as well. So I'm just adding the context to it. But he played awesome. So that's my quarterback mountain for the playoffs. It is a bit of a bummer. I really thought we would see these guys there, but we didn't. They're just on the playground right now. They're just kind of doing the seesaw going up and down. I do love Baker Mayfield. He's happy. Like, his body is saying that he's happy, but he looks so serious. Why is he so serious? Everyone else is smiling, but he's not smiling. And I mean, listen, Dak Prescott's having a blast. He's like, this is so great. He's so happy. He's so happy. He was going to see the Rams in the NFC Championship game this year. But instead, he said, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to ride the seesaw. That's what I want to do, man. That's what I want to do. And Shador is like, man, I can't believe I'm in the NFL right now. And Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes is so good. He's at 2 places at once. It's literally 2 places at once. He's at the seesaw, at base camp, and he's doing commercials, for State Park. He's a Renaissance man. It's crazy. I can't believe we're going to see him all January in the playoffs in February. We're going to see him in the Super Bowl again in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, he just cannot miss the playoffs. We see him every single year in January and February. And he is going to be wearing red. It's not a Chiefs jersey, but he's going to be wearing red. And he's going to be next to, I don't even know that guy's name, and that woman who's a singer. It's not Taylor Swift, though. Shucks. What are you going to do? But really, it's all about them, the actual quarterbacks who have made the mountain, but we're about to lose a bunch of them. So We're going to lose a bunch of them, then we're going to gain another two. Boix and Sam Darnold, so we'll see. We'll see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about this glorious quarterback playoff mountain? About Bryce Young's, I can't think of any type of mountain or fizz or like natural thing that starts with a Y. Bryce Young's Yosemite Mountain. Yeah, guys, it's 3:30 in the morning right now. Just so we're clear, it's 3:30 in the morning, and I just streamed every game on Saturday, every game on Sunday, made 16 videos and posted them on Monday, and then live streamed the after that. Then after that game, talked for another 2 or 3 hours on the live stream. And then I just made this video. So, I'm a little tired. I have to eat. I'm going to end here. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comments, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see a part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.